Hey book lovers, welcome to Book Snack Sat, where every Saturday we're bringing you a brand new bookish recipe inspired by the books that you are reading. Today we're talking all about Queen of Someday by Sherry Ficklin. Now, Queen of Someday is an amazing historical fiction about a girl named Sophie who is basically sold to Russia in order to become their next empress, and she has to marry Peter, who is going to be the next emperor, and he is a sadistic, horrible person. She's about 15 years old when all of this happens, and we get to go through her story as she transforms into Catherine the Great. It is an amazing series. I highly recommend it, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a minute, but first we're going to jump into some cupcakes inspired by Sophie, aka Catherine the Great, and this gorgeous cover. So let's take a look. Now, to create these cupcakes, you're going to need 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a half teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a half a cup and 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk, which we're going to add in as needed, 2 eggs, and 9 tablespoons of butter, which is actually a stick and a tablespoon of soft butter. Now, if you need to soften your butter, you can actually leave it in the wrapper and put it in your microwave for 15 seconds to soften it up as you are working. You're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees, and then we're going to jump in. Now, the cool thing about these cupcakes is that they are incredibly easy to make. All you have to do is take the ingredients that I listed and put them into the bowl, with the exception of the milk, and work them together. You're going to add in that milk to kind of keep it soft and really work with the batter, so only put it in as you are going to be kneading it, and you mix everything together and then pop them in the oven. So let's do this. So, pro tip guys, make sure that as you are doing this, you stir them in slowly so that you do not get a lumpy version of your batter. That is not going to be good. So add ingredients slowly into it, and it'll be totally awesome. Now, the next step is to put your batter into your muffin tin, and you're going to bake that for 15 to 20 minutes. Now, the cool thing is that you get to pick really beautiful wrappers for your cupcakes. Take a look at these. I actually went and got fancy wrappers for this. This is a metallic pink color. I absolutely love it because it goes perfectly with the Queen series covers. There's hints of red, there's hints of pinks, there's blacks. It's amazing, absolutely gorgeous, and I love this because it is so representative of Sophie / Queen Catherine as she becomes Empress of Russia. And I love this because it's royal. So let's jump in and get these in the oven, and then we're going to chat all about the Queen series. Now, pro tip here, your cupcakes are going to bake in the shape that you put the wrapper liner into your muffin tins. So if there is a little gap or a little space, you're going to want to go ahead and move that. Take a look right here. These you're just going to want to pull and push so that it goes to the entire length of your muffin tin. It's nice and round and pretty, and it doesn't have some weird indent. So make sure you are taking care of that as you are going before you put your cupcake batter in. This is what happens, guys. I smell vanilla and I lose my words. It's life. Okay, so while we're waiting for our cupcakes to bake, let's go ahead and talk about Queen of Someday. Now, I absolutely love this series. I was introduced to this forever ago, and this is actually how I became friends with the author Sherry Ficklin, and I highly recommend this historical fiction to literally everybody I talk to about historical fiction. Sophie is such a strong character. She's betrothed to a vicious man, but she's falling in love with another guy, so we've got forbidden romance. She's got the political intrigue of imperial court, and she has to survive because there are traitors and murderers and all sorts of horrible things running around imperial court, and she is supposed to be the new Empress of Russia. And as we know, she turns into Catherine the Great. She's got a lot of things going on, and we go through quite a bit of her life within these stories, and we get to see some amazing things. I don't want to give anything away 'cause spoilers, but OMG, does Sherry write swoony guys. Now, here's a little bonus for you. She's actually writing a spin-off series right now about one of the other characters in this book, and I cannot wait. It is so dang good. I highly recommend this. I absolutely love this. Here's a little fun fact for you. I was reading the 3rd book, I was beta reading it for her, on an airplane next to my mother, and I probably shouldn't have. So it gets a little steamy, just so you know, guys. It is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. I could gush over this all day, but we're actually going to start making our icing. So let's jump into our icing, and then we will read the back of the book and talk a little bit more about Sophie/Catherine and her life journey within this story. While we're waiting for our cupcakes to cool so that we can ice them, let's go ahead and read the back cover of Queen of Someday. Before she can become the greatest empress in history, 15-year-old Sophia will have to survive her social climbing mother's quest to put her on the throne of Russia at any cost. Imperial court holds dangers like nothing Sophia has ever faced before. In the heart of St. Petersburg, surviving means navigating the political, romantic, and religious demands of the bitter Empress Elizabeth and her handsome but sadistic nephew, Peter. Determined to save her impoverished family and herself, Sophia vows to do whatever is necessary to thrive in her new surroundings. But an attempt on her life and an unexpected attraction threatens to derail her plans. Alone in a new and dangerous world, learning who to trust and who to charm may mean the difference between becoming queen and being sent home in shame to marry her lecherous uncle. With traitors and murderers looking around every corner, her very life hangs in the balance. Betrothed to one man, but falling in love with another, Sophia will need to decide how much she's willing to sacrifice in order to become the empress she is destined to be. In a battle for the soul of a nation, will love or destiny reign supreme? So there you have it. We've got political intrigue, we've got romance, so much romance. You guys, there are incredibly swoony guys in this book. I can't even tell you. There's more than one. It's amazing, and I just can't, because swoony guys, and Sherry Ficklin is the best at swoony guys. I'm just saying, you gotta check this out if you are a romance fan. Now, here's a little tip for you. If you are a younger viewer, you may want to be careful when we get to the later books. They get a little on the mature side, especially in that third book, but if you are a fan of all of that, guys, this is the one for you. It is so dang good. We actually go from 15-year-old Sophie grows up, she becomes this Catherine the Great, Empress of Russia, that she was destined to be, and we get to go with her through these travels. And you know, she's got a bit of a history. If you know anything about history, there's a lot going on in her life that people talk about, and we kind of really get to see her roots and where she developed into this. And remember, it is historical fiction, so there's some literary license in there, but so dang good. I highly recommend this. This is actually the series I met Sherry through. She and I are good friends, and I love this series. I recommend it all the time. I highly recommend that you go ahead and take a look at this. I'm going to drop those links in the show notes below so you can take a look at the Queen series. I just love it. I just love it. If you don't love the cover, you will love the story. Like, just so good. So good. Alright, are you guys ready to work on our icing? We're going to go check on those cupcakes and see how we're doing, and we're going to start creating cupcakes kind of inspired by this cover. So think swirls, think flowers, think little hints of red. It's going to be awesome, and I've got some really cool things for you. So let's jump in and take a look. Now, we are using the same recipe from the icing that we made in our McNerd cookies last week, so if you absolutely love this, we're going to jump in and do that again. Now, you are going to need 1 stick of unsalted butter that is softened, and remember, if you need to soften this, go ahead and put it in the microwave for 15 seconds with the wrapper still on, and it will soften it up for you. You're going to need 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla, and remember, clear is best because you don't want to alter the color of your icing. And then we're going to wrap this up with 1 to 3 tablespoons of milk, which you're going to add in 1 tablespoon at a time until it's smooth, and you're not necessarily going to need all 3 tablespoons, so do it a little bit at a time and judge as you go. Okay, as our cupcakes finish cooling, we're going to go ahead and get our icing ready so that we can create our queen cupcakes. Now, you're going to need an icing bag. You can get these reusable or disposable at the store, or if you don't want to splurge, you can actually use a Ziploc bag and just cut off the tip. It's not going to work super well, but it does get the job done if you absolutely cannot get your hands on an icing bag. Now, the cool thing is with these, we're actually going to play with the different tips on our icing bag. So you have a variety of different tips that are going to do different designs for you. So I'm going to attempt to make just a nice kind of a basic covering for our cupcakes, and then I'm going to start making flowers, which I'm so excited about. I also have a little bit of food coloring, so I may use some red accents within the icing, and I may also use some sugar pearls, which I'm incredibly excited about. I got them in a couple different colors. Pretty sure this is going to be an epic cupcake, but we're going to find out. Now remember how I said I was going to use different colored icing? Well, you want to do that with food coloring. You just want to add a couple of drops at a time as it dyes your white icing to a beautiful pink color. And I went from a light pink to a darker pink. I could even go with a couple more drops and make it more of a red color, depending on what I want to do. I think I'm going to run with this pink color because I just want some accents, and I've got some colored sugar pearls which I'm going to be using, but this is up to you. You can go light pink, medium pink, you can go red, you can do whatever you want to decorate your cupcakes to look like the Queen of Someday series. And you've got a lot of freedom here because you can do whatever you want to create this Queen-inspired cupcake. So go ahead, play with your frosting, and make it to your perfection. You could even use different colors, but because I'm saving some time here, we're just gonna run with this one. We're gonna jump in and start decorating. You ready? Guys, all I can tell you is that this icing is like perfection. I am not somebody who likes icing. Like, I don't do sugar, I don't do sweets, and this was just incredible. I highly recommend it. If you're gonna be doing something like this, this is the recipe, guys. I love this, and even as someone who does not like icing, I totally eat this. So I highly recommend. Now, as we are using this icing, you're gonna wanna twist at the top and hold down here and squeeze it out as you need to. We're gonna go ahead and get these babies iced. I am using an interesting tip and I'm not quite sure how it's gonna work, but we're gonna find out. It's been a very long time since I used to do this. And actually, my sister is someone who is just about a professional cake baker. She's done a ton of work, she's done amazing things, and I've watched her do this for a lot of years, but I myself haven't iced things in a very long time. So here's hoping I don't embarrass my sister as I do this. Okay, pro tip here. Always add less icing than you think you're gonna need because you can always add more, but if you put too much in there, you're going to waste it because it's really hard to get the icing out of the bag if you want to save it later on. So put less in at first and then add more as you need it. Okay, the next step is going to be to use our colored icing to create our flowers. I'm really excited about this part, and this is the first time in a very long time I've tried to make these flowers, so we're gonna see how it was going to work out for me. I do have a pro tip for you. Be careful as you're putting the icing in because the spoon that you put it in with will tend to catch at the top of the bag. It might get a little messy, so just be careful what you're baking in that you don't wreck your clothing. We're gonna jump in and create these flowers. Now, pro tip. You want to be careful when you're using the food coloring because it will temporarily dye your fingers if you come in contact with it, so just be careful as you are using it so that you don't end up with red hands. Okay, so with these flowers, you're going to want to do little dabs of icing so that you are creating each individual petal. Mine are coming out kind of interesting. It's a little bit different each and every time, and I think I'm probably using not the best tip for this, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to add in some decorations, I'm going to add in some swirlies, and then I'm going to add in our sugar pearls, and we're going to really decorate this to make it absolutely beautiful. Okay, now that our flowers are on, albeit a little bit different than what I had anticipated, I'm going to go ahead and switch tips on my icing bag, and I'm going to add some swirlies in to kind of represent the cover of the Queen series. Oh my goodness, this is magnificent. It's so pretty, I love this. I love this. I'm even okay with how the flowers turned out now. I love this. Okay, pro tip, as you are decorating, I find that making swirls, individual swirls, is going to look best. If you keep them connected, it kind of looks a little lazy, but not as pretty as if you make the individual swirls. So if you are doing the same thing as me or something similar to me, I highly recommend working with just one swirl at a time and not connecting them together, but possibly connecting them over to the flower so it has this really pretty, lacy, loopy look to it, but it doesn't look like it's one continuous line that's just kind of plopped down on your cupcake. So now our next step is going to be to add in our sugar pearls. I pulled some white sugar pearls and gray sugar pearls because I wanted to work with the covers of the Queen series. So we've got the white sugar pearls to represent the first cover, those metallic gray black tones to go with that third cover, and we have our pinkish red flowers to go with our second cover, which means we have our bases covered for the covers, right? Let's add these and make them look gorgeous. Now the next step is to go ahead and enjoy your cupcakes. Look how absolutely gorgeous this is. You can go all out with your decorations or you can go minimalist. You can do whatever you want to get them to look like the Queen covers. I absolutely love this. This one's my favorite, I think. I like the placement on this one, and I cannot wait to go ahead and dig in. This is going to be amazing and also a little messy, so I'm not going to eat this one on camera. But I cannot wait to hear your reactions. Go ahead, take pictures of your cupcakes and pop those over on social media. Make sure you tag me at k.m.robinson books and you tag Sherry Bicklin as well so that we can see what you are doing to create your amazing snacks while you're reading the Queen of Someday series. I absolutely love this and I cannot wait to see what you are going to create and how you're going to decorate. Now for me, I think I would probably go a little more red on my icing next time, and I would probably pick a different tip for my flowers because it didn't quite work the way I wanted to, but they're still really, really cool looking, and I cannot wait to see what you are going to create for your cupcakes as well. I'm K.m. Robinson, author of the Golden Trilogy and the Jada Duology, and I cannot wait to see you next week for our next book snack sat, where we are bringing you bookish snacks for all of the books that you are reading. And if you have a book that you would like to see on the channel, go ahead, send me a DM or comment below and let me know what you want to see featured in our next book snack sat. If you've got an author who you think would absolutely love this, go ahead and send the link to them or tag them in it. Let them know what we're doing over here at K.m. Robinson Books, my author brand, and over at Reading Transforms, because we want to get more authors involved and really feature some amazing books and get them represented in snack form, because who doesn't want to eat while they're reading, right? I cannot wait to hear from you. Go ahead and hit the share button below if this is something that you think your friends would love, because again, who doesn't love book snacks? Hit the share button and let us know who you want to create these amazing cupcakes with you, and let us know if you could have any person in the entire world, I'm talking any bookish friend that you have near, far, on the internet, or in person, who do you want to create these amazing Queen cupcakes with? Let me know. We're going to work together and we're going to create some amazing recipes in the next couple of weeks. Thanks so much for hanging out. I will see you next week for another book snack sat. Bye-bye. Guys, I totally forgot to wear my crown because I am apparently very bad at remembering to put things on for my wrap-up. So here is the crown. This is actually just like the crown featured on the third Queen book, so check it out. And we're just gonna hang out with my crown and my cupcakes. Oh yes. I actually told one of my friends today, I told her that I had messed something up, but it's okay, because a queen always bakes to perfection, adjust the crown. And she thought that was hilarious, so shout out to you, girl. Do you guys totally love my crown? Look how pretty that is. I love this. It's beautiful. Fit for a queen or an empress. This one's so pretty. You guys want a bite? I just picked the best place. Actually, hang on now. We want the best place. We gotta go back. Yes!